If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Now go download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And now back to Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. You're listening to a new episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host, me, Aeon. So sit back, relax, and listen as I unpack the uncertainty of my 30s, one episode at a time. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host Aeon. So let's jump right into it. During my hiatus from podcasting, the Dave Chappelle controversy is it's the thing that won't stop. It's the thing that keeps going and going and going and going. And I'm pretty sure some of you want to know my position on it. I actually did. Part of the reason why I deactivated my social media because a lot of the people were getting crazy on the comments, and when people are gaslighting me, it takes a toll on me. So my personal defense mechanism is to disengage because I don't need to watch something to know that it's transphobic, especially when somebody has a pattern of engaging in transphobia. That's just where I'm at about it. That's how I feel about it. How do I feel about Dave Chappelle? I feel that Dave Chappelle is a capitalist. And he is a capitalist that benefits from blatant and obvious transphobia, which in my book makes him transphobic. And just like I said earlier, I didn't need to see the whole special to know what the special is about. And I don't know, it's just it's very concerning for me the way that black cis het folks want and out to promote transphobia or to celebrate transphobia or to just celebrate being antagonistic to trans people. I don't think Dave Chappelle is a genius. I don't. To me, there's nothing genius about supporting the status quo of espousing transphobic ideals. He's not brave. He's not a genius. He's just somebody that is capitalizing off the anti-trans hate machine. We live in a time where people know that this type of conversation, this type of outrage is going to lead to clicks, is going to lead to views, hence why his comedy special was in the top 10 for 2 weeks after it was released. And people, even black people, know that homophobia and transphobia is a big business. Does this make him a smart businessman? Yes. Does he have the right to do this? Yes, but to me, it's lazy. But that's kind of economies of scale. You're able to make more money by taking the easy way out to promote the thing that works. And we know that transphobia works. There's a way more cis people than trans people who are interested in being peddle anti-trans narratives. I don't know. I just don't like the gaslighting. I don't like. It's just disingenuous for me. I don't think by the time you all hear this episode that I'm going to say anything that hasn't been said about Dave Chappelle. The fact that the fact that Dave Chappelle lacks any intersectional feminist framework, the fact that a lot of y'all do not believe and don't listen to black women who have coined these terms, who've gone through the painstaking labor to create this framework where we're able to name our oppression and we're able to ultimately come out of our oppression or to break these systems that oppress us. The fact that Dave Chappelle assumes that all LGBTQ folks are white, the fact that Dave thinks he's not transphobic but can proclaim that he's a TERF in the same breath, the fact that just because he thinks he has a white trans friend that he knows everything about trans people or he can speak on a trans experience, like at this point, by the time, I don't know when this episode is going to come out, but by the time it comes out, there are a lot of folks who are out there who have done black trans figures who have said everything that I'm thinking or everything that I could say, but I think this just shows the inherent problem of capitalism, that it's okay to marginalize and exploit people and not care about their safety and introduce them to further harm in the interest of making another couple millions of dollars. And I think that's the part that nobody's really talking about in this conversation, that if this is not Dave Chappelle, somebody else is going to do this again, and they're going to be financially rewarded for being on the wrong side of history. It's tired. It's tired. Like, I'm so past the point of convincing you that trans women are women, that I am a woman. Like, at this point, all I can just do is just be committed to living my life. I know that when I go out and I navigate the world, that I experience the world as a woman. I pray for my community members, because unfortunately, particularly for black trans women and femmes, we are in community with black cishet men who are patting Dave Chappelle on the back, who are encouraging him in this toxic ideology. And unfortunately, it's going to be us that are going to bear the brunt of the ideology that perpetuates these jokes. Dave Chappelle is the reason why niggas can go around and identify LGBTQ people and call us the alphabet people when they try to say that these jokes don't matter and it's not a big deal. I don't know. The only people I'm praying for are for the black trans people that have been impacted by this, who will be impacted by this, for those of us who are being gaslit and sea lioned, and I don't know. I'm just tired, y'all. I'm tired of talking about Dave Chappelle. I'm tired of talking about these black men, cishet men, who continue to fail us, who are insulated, and this whole idea of cancel culture. Like, I really want us to. I think there's a difference between being canceled and cancel culture, and I don't believe that cancel culture exists. I believe cancel culture is a term of the alt-right, and it's this rallying call in order to try to paint themselves as the victims because they don't want to be held accountable for their blatant bigoted ideas, whether it be misogyny, misogynoir, anti-blackness, homophobia, transphobia, and so on. I don't believe that cancel culture exists. I believe that you can be canceled, but I don't believe it's a culture. I believe folks who are canceled, being canceled is usually people holding you accountable for something stupid that you've done. And we just live in a world where people want to engage in the act, but they don't want their behavior to be labeled for exactly what it is. And now I've been seeing stories that at first, when this special came out, Dave Chappelle was like, well, I don't care if this is being canceled. If you want to cancel me, then bring it on. This is what I like. But apparently he's producing some documentary on George Floyd. Why? I don't know. But apparently he can't get it shown at Sundance or any of the film festivals because of this controversy with his documentary and with the closer, the comedy show. And now he's complaining that he can't that nobody's working with him and nobody wants to he can't get this prolific or important workout. But it's like, I thought you didn't care about being canceled. I thought that this is what you wanted. You wanted this backlash. You wanted, so now you get to sit in it. And at the end of the day, whether you can produce this documentary or not, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You are a wealthy black man in America who has set your life up in a way that you can insulate yourself from being canceled. So you'll be fine. But to my black trans sisters, to the trans folks that work at Netflix, continue to be strong. I know it feels like we are losing. I know it feels like we're getting beat up on, but the fact that this is still a thing almost a month after that special came out, I know the cis-hets are gagging because they thought this was going to be a flash in the pan and nobody was going to take us seriously. But the fact that we're still talking about this, the fact that this comedy special, even though they refused to take it off of Netflix, even though they refused to put a trigger warning in front of it, the fact that it's still, this thing still has legs, lets me know that we are making the impact that we want to make. We're making the impact that we want to make, and they're going to think twice before they do something like this again. Also, I want to say fuck you to all of the people that think they're allies but have been contrarians and been praising Dave Chappelle because he hasn't been canceled. And you can't, yes, I'm talking about that bootleg Fox Soul show with Funky Dineva and Claudia Jordan and anybody that's just been performative, acting like they don't know about the trans community and they're allies. But the moment that they can stand in solidarity with us and get to the heart of why the whole community is up in arms, you take the easy way out just to side with Dave Chappelle, you're not an ally. You're not an ally. But this is all I have to say about the Dave Chappelle situation. I just really hope he goes under a rock somewhere and we don't have to ever hear about him again. I hope that this inspires more. And also, that Samson McCormick, you are a coon. You just like Flame Monroe. I don't care if you're a comedian. Y'all are being willfully ignorant at this point, so you can support quote unquote comedy and support Dave Chappelle. If you know me personally, I am a key. I am goofy. I like to laugh. I like jokes. Like, I just went to a comedy show right in the middle of this thing with Mateo Lane, a gay comedian. And the person who opened up for him, he was a fucking key. Like, I enjoyed the comedy show, and not once did I feel attacked. And I know it's comedians out there that can make jokes, or even if you're not in the trans community, even though I would love to see more black trans comedians up there, not Flame, because I don't consider Flame a trans comedian, but actual people from the community that has an analysis that's punching up at cis people and not punching down on the trans community. I hope that we're closer to the day where we can have comedians where we can tell our jokes, even if they are risque, and it be a key. But just making trans people the butt of the jokes, it's just not going to work for me. Not in 2021, not moving forward. I don't care what we did or how it used to be or how it was. It's just, my community means more to me than a cheap laugh or let's make some money off the special. So fuck capitalism, fuck Dave Chappelle, fuck TGIF on Fox Soul, fuck The Breakfast Club, because I'm pretty sure they said something. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you all. I want to thank you all for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast. I am your host, Aeon, and I will see you all next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. If you like the show, please be sure to go on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast. Also, make sure that you're engaging with me on social media. Also, if you have any inquiries or you want to send me any questions, be sure to email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye y'all.